We are ready to create our clay rattles. So to start this project, we are going to take our clay and we are going to flatten it into a slab. So that means I'm pushing this with my hands, trying to get it as flat as possible. I like to stand up to do this, kind of helps me to get it flatter. I'm not slapping it or punching it, I'm just pushing. Now I can use the rolling pin. So with the rolling pin, my hands stay on the outside of the rolling pin. They don't go inside. And I am pushing and rolling, and I have to roll this big enough to fit the circle tracer. So I am going to pick this up, and it will stick to this fabric, but the fabric will peel right off. It's like magic. So I flipped it over, which helps to get it flat. I know I'm close. Oh, awesome. So I will be around to help you, but I definitely need you to try because there's only one of me and I have to help everybody. So just be patient, try your best to flatten it out. And I cut it with a tool from the tray. So I have extra clay. I'm going to set this to the side. I will need this, a little bit of it later. So before I start creating, I'm going to make sure this peels off. You can keep this textured surface to make your designs on for the outside of your rattle, or you can use the smooth surface. So you can use any of the tools on your tracer to make some textures. I'm going to make some of these by just pushing the rubber into the clay, peeling it off. Pretty cool. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, kind of matching it, which makes it symmetrical. It's the same on both sides. Yours does not have to be symmetrical. I'm just using this tool to kind of draw an outline, and I am pushing very lightly. If I push too hard today, you know what's going to happen? Yep, I'm going to cut my clay. If you accidentally push too hard, raise your hand and I will help you repair it so it stays nice. Repairing means we have to smush together on the front and the back. You might find some cutters. I don't want to cut this. I'm just lightly pushing this into my clay to get this animal shape. You will find some marker caps. That's cool. I could even use the circles as stampers. The other side of this marker cap has some cool star shapes. What else? Oh, there's forks at some of the tables. You can use those to draw with. If you put something in your clay that you do not like, you can just smear it back together. Once you like your design, most kids forget this part, we're going to flip it over so our designs are on the back. We are going to do something very strange to this. We are going to wrap little pieces of clay, like the size of a pea, into paper towel. So this is about the size of a pea. I'm going to just fold it and crinkle it up there. This is going to be our noise maker in our rattle. The clay is going to dry, and it will harden and make a noise when we shake it. So I want about 5 pea-size shapes. We can't just put them in our clay because they will stick to the side. If we wrap them in the paper will burn, will turn to ashes, and it will still make a noise when I shake it. So you don't have to be fancy when you wrap these. You can just crinkle them up so that they're in there as best as you can. One last thing we're going to put in our clay is a crinkled up piece of newspaper. On Mrs. Cleary's table, you will find a pile of newspaper. You're going to want 2 squares, and you are going to kind of crinkle them up, and I don't want it like the smallest little crinkle. I want there to be a little bit of space in it. I am going to put it with my clay beads. I am going to use that toothbrush, and I'm going to go around the edge of my clay. So in math class, we would call this the perimeter. I am scoring and slipping the perimeter of my clay. And now I'm ready to fold it in half. So I'm going to fold and lightly kind of push it down into that taco shape. Now, it is not perfect. It's opening up. So I'm going to pick it up and I am going to touch those edges together. And the most important step is we're going to seal this clay together. That means I have to squeeze it. So I can do that like a pincher where my thumb goes between my fingers. I could do that with a tool like a fork, and I could push down. I could also do it with a popsicle stick tool or one of the clay tools, and I could get a really cool edge that way as well. I would pick the same way to smear them together so that it looks the same on your whole project. When you're finished, find Mrs. Cleary. She is going to write your name neatly on your project and put it in the spot with the rest of your class to dry. You will need to put your tools back on your tray. You will need to return any extra clay to Mrs. Cleary's table in the bag. And if you could give your fabric a little shake and get any crumbs on your table swept up and put away into the garbage can, that would be helpful. We are not washing the tables today.